Now, let's move on, shall we? Because it's been reported today that Extinction Rebellion protests have cost the Met Police over £60 million since 2019. But it won't stop there, by the way, because there's even more rounds of protesting being planned. Mass disruption in September. Their aim, of course, is all about the climate change, getting us to take it more seriously, etc., etc. Now, who shall I start with? Something tells me that my panel are going to massively disagree on this one.
It's a nice quiet one, this.
Yes.
Not like the last one will be.
Right.
We'll see.
Let me start with you, Daniel. Do you think we need to get tougher on protesters?
Well, I don't care how much money the police spend if protesters who are disrupting other people's lawful life and business are taken off the streets and stopped from disrupting them. I don't mind if people go out and protest. I'm perfectly happy if they go out and protest. But they don't have to stop traffic. They don't have to stop people going about their lawful business. And if they do, they should be taken off the streets straight away by the police. That's my view.
Yeah, but in this day and age, Daniel, you see it all the time, don't you? These guys glue themselves. I mean, I'd love to even know what glue they use because they seem to stick fast. Only glue I've ever used, it's rubbish. It hardly sticks. But these guys use whatever it is, stick themselves to the floor. And then our law enforcement come along messing around with whatever substance it is.
Well, I saw a guy on a video. I saw a guy in Italy get some sticky in a museum where they were doing it on pictures, and just pull the hand off. I think it stung a bit.
But I think
and I think they might have to sting a bit. I mean, you glue yourself to the street, that's a street, that's public property, that's public highway. We're entitled to use that street, and you're not entitled to prevent us and obstruct us from using that highway.
Well, where do you stand on it, Lisa?
Well, Extinction Rebellion, it's kind of low-hanging fruit. Most people dislike them intensely. And most people, and in London, people really don't like them. I don't like them. I remember a few years ago when they were stopping people at 6:30 in the morning getting to work by climbing on top of the tube trains. And, when we think about Extinction Rebellion, it's very easy to kind of say, we need to get these protesters off the street. But there's a bigger debate here about what our democracy means and what we can and can't do in our democracy. And protest is something that is historically and culturally embedded in our democity.
Yeah,
that we can go that we can go out and we can protest
and we can to the street.
And as one of the viewers said that Michelle was sort of reading out a few minutes ago, is we need mass protests to show the government and to show the energy companies that we're not happy and that we don't want to be robbed anymore by these energy companies. So if we all
They're not robbing you.
Well, we feel like they are.
Yeah.
But coming down hard on protesters, arresting protesters, getting them off the streets, having new laws to stop protesting, I think is undemocratic and un-British.
But do you not think, are there any limits in your mind? Can people just do whatever they want?
Well, I've been arrested for protesting quite a few times.
Have you been charged?
Yes, I've been to court for protesting. I've been found not guilty.
But just give me an example of the circumstances. What did you do?
Well, we were protesting against a building in Aldgate East that had got two doors. The front door was for private rented tenants, and the back door near the bins was for social tenants. And we were doing a protest against poor doors, because there's quite a lot of them in London. There's a lot of these sort of buildings where people have to use different entrances.
Yes, the housing associations insist on that.
Yeah, but so what we were doing
I did not know that.
Yeah, so what we were doing is protesting against poor doors.
Right.
There's also
because the housing associations don't want to share the communal facilities with the private tenants. These are the lovely we love the housing associations, but they don't want to share the facilities with the communal tenants because then they'd have to share the service charge and they'd have to pass the service charge on to their own social tenants.
So the social tenants...
A separate building inside the building.
Yeah. So
which sounds fair enough then.
No, well, no, but
it does sound fair enough. There is a reason for it.
But the minute we start to separate people on affordability to rent...
Yeah, but that's because we separate people by having social housing.
So what we were...
It's the having the social housing that is the cause of the separation.
So what we were...
Right, so let's go on then. Tell us your story.
So what I was doing is I was picketing the rich side of the door. And we were trying to say to the owner of the building, because actually they're not two separate buildings inside, they're the same building. I've walked through them. And we were trying to say, why can't everyone just walk in the front door? It's not, So you
were stopping people getting into their own house?
No, we weren't. We were just sort of stood on the road. We didn't stop anybody getting in. We were just picketing. And the police said that I had stuck a sticker on the window. And that had caused...
And did you?
No. Somebody else had, but I hadn't.
Right.
And so the police said that was criminal damage because there's some glue stuck to the window. So I went to court. We looked at the CCTV. Someone else had stuck the sticker on the window. So the police then charged me for joint enterprise, saying I was there when another person stuck a sticker on a window. And that's the sort of thing that the police do when it comes to protesting. We had
it's nothing about new laws.
We had a legal right to protest.
But I'm not saying. But I'm not disputing your legal right to protest. And I do think that putting a sticker on a window is a bit extreme to call that criminal damage. But what we're talking about here is Extinction Rebellion, which isn't doing what you're describing.
But we don't want new laws just because of Extinction Rebellion.
Well, I think we do want new laws to deal with Extinction Rebellion, if the police don't deal with them under existing laws.
But the police could deal with Extinction Rebellion a lot better than they do. I mean,
a lot more effective.
When they were...
Yeah, they could. Do you know what? I'll tell you, I would give them 2 tips if I was ahead of the police. I would say do 2 things. If people start locking onto stuff or gluing themselves there, leave them.
Yeah.
Either leave... If you want to lock yourself to, I don't know, whatever, stay there. Let's see how long you last. Just stay there. Or if you want to glue yourself to a road, I'd rip them off. That's what I would do.
Well,
if you came to a street near me and you glued your hand to a street and you stopped me doing what I was trying to do, go to work, go to school, I would rip your hand off.
You'd be arrested for that.
What I'm saying with Extinction Rebellion is they're at low-hanging fruit. Everyone knows that they disrupt people's days.
So
ordinary working-class people can't get to work. They don't do themselves any favours at all. What would I do about them? I mean, the police seem to manage them okay, actually, don't they? To start with, they
supervise.
To start with, they left them alone for days and days and days.
That's what they still do.
But now they don't. I mean, now they arrest them. I mean...
But what do you think to some of these new suggestions then? So some of the new suggestions are creating a new criminal offence of locking on and going equipped to lock on. So you would have a maximum penalty of 6 months imprisonment or an unlimited fine or both. Do you agree with that?
No.
OK. Introducing a new offence of obstructing major transport works. Again, a 6-month maximum penalty or, 6 months imprisonment, unlimited fine. Do you agree with that?
No.
So you don't agree? And then the next one, I don't know why I'm even bothering because I know that you're going to say no. But anyway, interference with key national infrastructure. Again, do you think...
No, and there's a reason. There is a reason, because I've been in that situation where the police has arrested me for putting a sticker on a window that I didn't do, and then because they couldn't get that charge, I couldn't get that charge. They then raised the charge to joint enterprise.
Lisa, I don't understand.
I don't trust the police with these.
I don't understand whether you could be saying one of 3 things. You could be saying you don't approve of Extinction Rebellion and what they do, but they should be allowed to carry on doing it.
Yes.
You should be saying that.
I do say that, yeah.
You could be saying that the police don't need new laws because they could deal with Extinction Rebellion.
I do think that, yeah.
And you could be saying we need new laws. Now,
I don't think we need new laws.
It's one of those 3. So which of the first 2 is it?
I think it's both of those first 2.
So the police have the powers to deal with them at the moment, in your view.
Yeah, I think they do.
But they shouldn't deal with them.
No, I think they should. I mean, the police will
The
police should do whatever they do. But protesters should also have a right to protest as well.
But they have a right to protest. But
yes,
should that
do.
right extend to sticking yourself to the street? And if it does, should he be taken off as smartly as possible? I
mean, if you want to stick yourself to the street, it's not something I would do. I would not do that.
No.
But if you wanted to do that,
you should be allowed.
You should do that if that's what you want to do.
And then if the police... And then what should the police do? Just take you away? Or
if the police want to use the powers that they've got to remove you, they've already got existing powers to do that.
Okay,
we don't need anything extra.
You agree with me that the police should whip them off as fast as possible?
Yeah, yes.
So
really.
See, I knew we'd end up agreeing.
Oh, well, there you go.
If that's what
so we're on the same place. And I don't care how much money they spend doing it.
Well...
Get on with it.
Yeah, I just think that when we talk about Extinction Rebellion, everybody's heckles goes up. But what we've got to realise is there are big issues coming down the line, and we will need our rights to protest more than ever. So I don't want these new protest laws coming in now.
I have a lot of confidence in democracy as a way of sorting things out.
Do I?
I don't know.
No, I don't think any of us do we, at the moment?
Oh, well, if you don't believe in democracy, you've given up.
I do believe in democracy. I don't believe that where we are at the moment, we are living in fair and democratic times.
Oh, right.
And I'll tell you, I do actually think that the police should be slower to respond to the people who are responding to the protests, if you followed my sentence. Because I remember seeing lots of, who were they? Was it Insulate Britain or whatever it was, with the stupid banners blocking the roads, thinking that somehow their cause trumped every single other person's ability to get to school, to get to work, to get to hospital appointments, wherever. And I remember seeing truckers or whatever getting a hold of these guys and pulling them off the road, and the police were going for the people doing the pulling,
I know, I saw
and not
that.
the people blocking the road.
Yeah.
So something there to me is not quite right. Mike says, Michelle, there's a big difference between protesting and gluing yourself to the road. This is the problem, though. Some people... Mike, don't think that there's a difference. They think it's absolutely perfectly fine to glue yourself to said road. Paul says, this is simple, Michelle. If people want to glue themselves to roads, get some more glue, pull them off the road, move them to the pavement, glue them to that and leave them there. That's what Paul says.
Pedestrians, they'd be in the way of the pedestrians. I'd glue them to the wall 6 feet up.
Oh, Vicky.
Out the way.
Vicky's not messing around. She says... Get the water cannons out. Follow the French and do that. Lisa is having absolutely none of that.